Hey guys, RW down here in the shop, and what a surprise, it's raining. So here's another Wmpyr weapon, wanted to show you. I've made a mess of these. This is sort of your basic impact weapon. You can grab this thing and fend off somebody, right? And then here's a version with one chisel edge. Obviously the chisel edge could go the other direction, or it could be on the other side, or whatever. It's been polished, and I thought, what the heck, let's go ahead and peel the paper off of the very first one that's done here. Have a look at it, see what it looks like. So, I'm not going to be able to tell you exactly what this is. It's pretty obvious what it's for, but Wmpyr Design it, so I'll let him tell you what the name of this weapon is. A little bit of blue polishing compound on it that I'll have to wipe off, but try and give you, how about against all the chips, huh? There we go, maybe not. So there you have it. You can hold it. See, it's all nice and rounded here. This part's all beautifully rounded, polished. This is all rounded, polished, you know. So you've got something, I imagine you could also hold it like this, or like this, or you could hold it like this. It's comfortable enough that you can do that. Flip it around. Get this wonderful chisel edge on it. It's actually kind of feels kind of sharp, you know. I don't think it's paper cutting sharp or anything crazy like that, but it's also durable. It's cell cast acrylic. This isn't something soft at all, but it's a big blunt tip. It's not going to penetrate a lot, but it definitely will create some pain. I imagine you could use this in a lot of different ways, you know. It's got a little hole here. I'm not really sure exactly what the hole's about. Maybe for flipping. If it is for flipping, we need to put a bevel on each side of it. Could be for flipping, couldn't it? Yeah. Nice and light, very small, easy to conceal, undetectable, very useful weapon. You can see how this is a force multiplier for when you're punching, or when you're grappling, or when you want to put somebody into a submission through pain compliance technique or whatever. That would do it. And there's made a version with a plunge dagger style on it. So made a couple of them. Made some with the chisel edge. Made one that just has nothing, just plain. And what I'm going to do is send off some of these to Wmpyr, and he can give them away to his subscribers, because I know his guys are probably more interested in martial arts weapons than my guys, who seem to be interested in computers, guns, cats, and the great outdoors, and surviving the coming apocalypse. So you might have some overlap there. So here's one that I destroyed, okay? I want to tell you about the buffer. This thing here can mess you up if you've ever had anything snagged by this. And what I was doing was I was buffing that hole, which is not that easy to do. I was rotating it, and it got away from it. It went into the bench, I imagine. Flew over here, smashed against a few things, bounced back at me. And that's what it looked like after it had been flung at about 75 miles an hour into something. A couple things, apparently. So, I'm not saying these things are indestructible, but they are tough as nails. This is still capable of doing the job. This is like if you punched it into some concrete. You know, that's basically the kind of damage that would do. and then you still have something that you can get down and still stick in a piece of wood, okay? So my plastic is harder than this piece of pine, and you know this piece of pine is harder than somebody's face, so you can figure it out from there, guys. But yeah, this will make a nice deep impact. Now I'm not, going full force here. I'm not bludgeoning the thing in there, but I could slam that with my BFH. I've got a BFH. You should have a BFH in your shop. So, if you were concerned about whether this thing would just break into little pieces the minute you hit something, I just wanted to get it a little straighter so I could really slam it. There we go. I think I can split this piece of pine with this piece of acrylic pretty easy here. I think that it'd be really no challenge at all. Oh yeah. So, just to give you a quick demonstration, this is the one that has two edges, so obviously it's going to penetrate a little more evenly, a little better. But you can see the damage it did going through the wood was really nothing compared to the damage the buffer did when it snapped it out of my hands. And thank God it did not fling this into my man sack, because I wouldn't be making this movie right now. I'd be down at the emergency room having them pull this thing out of my sphincter or wherever it went. So, yeah, I think this is really neat. I like the chisel edge. I just wish I could work metal right now, but I can't. So, but I am a master fabricator with acrylic, as you can probably tell. It's what I've done for many, many, many years. So these are just interesting projects for me, and I like the idea of sending a mess of these to Wmpyr. Going to send him this one. It's just I'll round it and stuff, but I'll just leave it unedged, and then I'll send a couple of the edged ones and a pointy one, all polished up and rounded and everything. I'm still in the process of rounding them. It's quite a bit of work. Got to run the router around it. But these things are, of course, perfectly symmetrical, because that's just how I roll. And symmetry, man. Got to have it when you're routing stuff. It only makes sense. So there it is. Kind of a neat thing, really. This is not so sharp that you couldn't just carry it in your pocket. You could put some kind of a thing on here that made it look like it was a keychain. It almost looks kind of like a comb or a brush handle. Does not look like a weapon or a knife, but you could get that thing out and into action right away and do what you got to do. Defend yourself. So, beautiful stuff, huh? Fun stuff. I love his design. It's very, I don't know exactly what it has. Something poetic to it. It has a certain it speaks to me, I guess, the shapes. It's got that coffin type shape. It looks very ancient. It looks like something that if you were digging underneath a monastery in Tibet, you'd find one of these made out of bronze, hiding in there. So it's very ancient, yet very futuristic. That's why I like it. In a sense, it transcends a particular genre. It's just a useful impact weapon. If this thing was made of metal and had a cutting edge, you could obviously do all kinds of work with it. It'd be a great little work knife, and maybe I'll develop that one day when I get into the metal work. Right now, we've got acrylic. This is 3/8 cell cast. Kimcast GP, top of the line. That's all we use here. Okay, I've got a couple more things here. As you can see, I've created two of the Wmpyr weapons, and then he's got the monster knife that then has this part that adds onto it. And this will be fine out of acrylic, I know, but it would be so nice at this point to be able to make something out of metal. because it's the whole thing of it with a wood handle and, you know, big Tanto type blade, and just very simplistic, very rugged. But nope, not going to happen. But we will make one out of acrylic. It's not a big deal, as you can imagine, to make something like this. This is relatively simple. It's just a matter of getting it, the pinches perfectly symmetrical and getting the holes perfectly aligned. And that's not too bad. This is a little odd. This will take some work to get this to happen. But I understand the purpose of it. I understand why it needs to be there. So we'll get there, guys. We'll get there. Alright, another epic length video from RW here. Alright, as the rain falls.